Hello and welcome to another video on Adobe Photoshop. And today we're going to be talking about the main tool, and we're going to be talking about the red eye tool to be exact. And we're going to be talking about the spot healing brush tool, the healing brush tool, the patch tool, the content aware move tool, and the red eye tool. These all are basically all together in the spot healing brush tool. The sub options, they are all of them. So now let's start by talking about the spot healing brush tool. So the spot healing brush tool is basically a tool which you can use to cut something out or basically make it disappear. Okay, so you simply have to use this content aware option over here on the type option, and then you can simply use some other options like normal, replaces, multiply, screen, darken, lighten, color, luminosity. So going to stick with the normal option. Then you can simply change the size, the hardness, and the spacing. It basically depends on how you want to do it. Okay, so now let's move on over here. As you can see that I can basically remove everything over here. So for example, I want to remove this island. So what I can do is I can simply select the nearby color over here like this, and as you can see, by clicking on alt and then selecting, and then you simply have to use this like this. And what the add of Photoshop tool will do is that it will make it disappear by blending the background with the color on the side of it or surrounding this part. So I'm going to release my left mouse button right now, and as you can see that it has been disappeared. So it doesn't look like that there was something over there, and Adobe Photoshop did a flawless job in this. So that is how you can basically move or make something disappear around. So for example, right now what I want to do is I want to simply make this one disappear, this boat. So what I can do is I can simply color all parts of this from over here so that there is no sign of any kind of boat traveling from here, right? Yeah. So over here, and make sure that you color out a little bit more so it can detect the colors much more easily. It will give the tool or the mechanics of the Adobe Photoshop to match the color out much more efficiently. So now that I've done this, I'm going to release my mouse button, and as you can see that Adobe Photoshop did a pretty good tool. So pretty good work over here. So in this one picture I have removed one of the islands over here and the boat completely, and when you zoom out of the picture you can't even tell the difference right now. No one will even suspect that there was something over here or over here. This is pretty amazing, right? So let me undo what I just did, and now as you can see that this has been replaced. So now let's move on to the healing brush tool. So the healing brush tool is another kind of disappearing tool. You can use it to cut out one of the options and blend in with the background color. So let me show you. For example, I would like to move this island again or make this one disappear. So let me zoom around it like this. So right now what I can do is I have to click alternate and then select a color over here. So as you can see that now that I have selected a color, I can simply use this option over here like this, and as you can see that this has given a very good effect. But now I can simply select another color over here, this, yes. So now what I can do is I can basically make this actually match up with the color over here. Yeah. So that is basically how you can work around this tool using the healing brush tool. So let me show it to you again over here. So for example, I want to make this part disappear also, this boat. So all I have to do is I have to select the color over here. Yeah, like this. And then what I have to do is I have to use them over here. And the add of Photoshop tool will do what it does best. And as you can see that it has been totally blend right now. So let me do it fully like this. So you will see that it's totally getting blend away, right? So what I can do right now is I can select another color, for example this. Yeah, so I can make this color of the ocean right now, and I can also make these waves disappear by simply clicking on it. So as you can see that this tool is also handy to work with in Adobe Photoshop when you will want to remove an effect or a content that you don't want in the picture. That's how the pros do it. All right, so you can also do it, and you can also do it perfectly by using this tool, using similar colors around it to make a similar background. In that way, as you can see that there are no signs of a boat over here. It's pretty normal right now, right? So that's the healing brush tool. Now let me undo everything that I did. As you can see that everything has been restored right now. So now let's move on to the patch tool. So the patch tool is pretty interesting over here. So for example, you can work with the source option and the destination option. So now I'm going to use the source option, and I'm going to show you how you can use the patch tool. So you probably want to know what the patch tool is. So a patch tool is basically a freehand mark tool that we talked about. So let me move on to the rock over here. Yep, like this. And now I'm going to use the patch tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line over here. Okay, let's not work with the island over here or the rock over here right now, because the background has another layer of color, so it will not be a good option. So let me zoom out and select this part over here. So this is basically a great part to work with right now. So right now what I can do is I can basically use this option over here like this, and I'm going to select the whole of it like this until this. Yes, and then what I can do is I can simply drag it out like this. And what I can do is, as you can see that when I have created another tool over here, when I've created another mark over here, this will take the effect of the mark that I have been working on, and the component that will be inside the mark will disappear, right? So this is how you can also work and make one thing disappear like this. So as you can see that right now it's working pretty good, and from all of this you will be the only one to know that you have been working on this part, and no one will be able to notice around this blue area, right? So that is why the color combination is actually important in out of Photoshop. So what you can do with the patch tool again is you can use the destination. So now let me undo what I just did, and let's get back the boat. Yeah, so everything has been redone, and now let's select the destination option. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a part of the boat out. So like this, I'm going to create a small part out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and drag one of this over here. So what I can see right now is that there is another boat far away and there is another boat over here. So you can simply cut another part of it out like this, and you can simply put it over here like this. So as you can see that you can multiply and copy one of this part over here. So this is basically what you can do with the patch tool using these two modes, which is the source and destination. So let me undo what I just did, because we're going to be moving over to the next tool, and that is the content aware move tool. So the content aware move tool is basically the thing that we have been working on so long. So what you can do is basically, so what the content aware tool does is basically it takes one component from one place to another and replace that thing over there completely. So let us see for an example that I would like to remove this rock from here to here. So let me select the content aware tool from here, and then I'm going to zoom in to the rock so I can perfectly actually work with the content aware tool. So let me create a line over here. As you can see, you simply have to use your left mouse button and then hold on and create a line like this along the edge of the rock. Yes, like that. Have to be careful since you want a similar part to be extracted from one point to another. So you simply have to be careful about the edges. And since this rock is pretty far away from the main view, it will be pretty much easier to hide it. So now that I've created a full mark tool over here, I'm going to zoom out, and then I'm going to select this and drag it over here. And now that I've dragged it over here, I simply have to click on this correction sign or the tick sign over here, and you will see that this has completely vanished, which means that this has been replaced by this in this component. And now that if you'll see the picture, it doesn't look pretty different to me. It looks pretty nice, exactly. So now let's move on to the next tool, which is the red eye tool. And the red eye tool is basically the tool that you use to remove the red eye from a camera flash photography. So let's work on it, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to open another picture like this one, and in this one, as you can see that there is a flash or the red eye pupils over here, and this occurs because of the camera flashes while taking the pictures. So you can basically use this tool to remove this. For example, you have to select this tool, and you simply have to select the pupils in the middle of the pupils over here, and the color will change. As you can see that the red eye has been removed. So you simply have to do the same thing for the other eye, and the red eye will be removed. And there are some other options like the pupil size or the darken amount. The darken amount is basically the color of the pupil, which is black. So this is the normal option, and this is the normal option of the pupil size over here. So if you want to customize it more, you simply can play with this option a little bit. So this is for the tool over here we just talked about, the spot healing brush tool, patch tool, content aware mode tool, and red eye tool. So this is the options for basically the spot healing brush tool. And in the next lesson, we'll talk about the brush tools. Okay.